Okay, let's continue with our regular course. So we completed, I think, installment plan we completed. Now let's start with the next topic. The next topic is late fee. Late fee means interest. So if the customer doesn't pay on time, then late fee needs to be applied, and nobody can manually remember or check going to each account who is not compliant. So for that, late fee needs to be automated. So we're going to do late fee or interest. Okay, so let's go to SPRO. Under business transaction, we have interest calculations. Under that, we have item interest calculation. First, we define the reference interest rate. Now, the reference interest rate is what is the late fee interest amount that has to be referenced from something. Is there a state government who is running, who has prescribed that for this kind of industry, this much of late fee can be used? So nobody can whimsically charge, like in credit card, we have 36% late fee. So that is not whimsically charged, that is regulated. That's why somebody has to determine that what is a late fee, and accordingly that needs to be configured. So you cannot just put straight away put anything. So we have to take the reference late fee. For example, foreign currency revaluation. So forex revaluation, every day the exchange rates are loaded into the system. So it is loaded, it is not manually determined, right? So it is loaded from a website, say Bloomberg or Reuters, any of the website, it has to be loaded. Similarly, the rate fee we have to copy from a reference late fee. Reference interest rate should be copied from. So say my company code is located in, say, California. So I'm going to copy the reference interest rate of California. Whatever interest rate is prevailing in California for utility company, or maybe for this subscription based industries, from there I can copy. So that's why I have to mention that what is my, where am I copying from. So I'll put 0903 cal 1. Okay, so I'll call it California reference late fee. Description, I can put anything till whatever I can accommodate. Date from 01/01/2020, currency USD. Now if I am copying from a financial center, that financial center I can mention here, say say London interbank offering rate, LIBOR, MIBOR, different bank offering rates are available. You can tag the financial center. If you don't, you don't want, you can just don't tag. This is done. I still have not mentioned the late fee rate, which I'm going to mention in the next step. Define percentage rate for reference interest rate. Come here and click on new entry and look for your reference interest rate that was just created in the previous screen. So 0903 cal 1, valid from 09/01/01/2020, and here I'll put the interest rate. Okay, again, interest rate we cannot whimsically put. Whatever this reference interest rate is saying, I can put that. So maybe say I'll just put 3%. This is my interest rate and save. Next, define calculation rules. This is the major area. These two play the most important roles in late fee determination. Okay, so first I'll go ahead with define interest calculation rules. Click on new entry. I'll put the, so I'm going to show you three separate late fee. First one is simple late fee, second one is a bit complex late fee, and third one will be interest on deposits. So the third one will be a payable for the company. Interest from interest on deposit means if the customer the customer is depositing money, paying money for security deposit, when it is returned back or when it released, it will be released with some interest. Okay, so that will be our third type of interest. So that will be payable interest, but the first two are receivable interest. Okay, so I'll call it 0903/1. Okay, so I'll call it 3% LPF 0903. Interest calculation method actual by 360. Why did I put 360? Because 360 will give us proper rounding of figure. Okay, generally interests are calculated monthly, that is on 30. It is a period end activity in FICA. Like in FI you have depreciation, asset accounting, they run their depreciation to check what is the balance of the asset. Similarly in FICA they run the late fee to check how much of the receivable are like overdue, and they can be penalized with the late fee. Okay, month already started, move the key date to next one if necessary. I'll talk about the key date. Let me reach there. Once I go there, I'll tell you what is key date. Then you choose amount level, then save it, come to interest condition, click on new entry, currency is USD. Interest will be charged on debit or credit. Okay, this one, the first two are interest on debit, receivable. The third one, when I'll open the deposit interest, that will be interest on credit. Okay, so first this is debit, interest on debit. Rounding unit is not needed. Save. Then go to time dependent interest item. Click on new item, valid from 01/01/20. Amount limit. Do I want to charge the interest from 0, or should I charge the interest from up to 10? First $10 open item of first $10, no interest. After that I will run interest. Okay, so generally companies want to charge interest from $0 only. They don't want to put any amount limit, because if you do so, if the companies does so, then the customer will always pay in a balance of they will always pay short of $10. So if I say that, okay, for the first $10 of overdue I will not charge any interest, then for $100 bill they will pay 90, because the balance 10 will never be charged interest. That's why the minimum amount is generally put as 0. Okay, and here I'll tag the reference interest rate that I have created, which is here. Okay, and so it is 3%. If I want to put a premium, say 0.6, okay, then 3.6 will be the interest rate. If I want to put a minimum value, or if I want to put a maximum value, that means say my interest after calculation, if it is less than $1, I will not bother posting it. Okay, or if the interest is beyond $100, I will not charge $100, because maybe the government mandates us that you cannot charge interest of beyond $100. For those scenario, this minimum and maximums are required. Mostly I have not seen in any of the companies they use this minimum or maximum, because minimum to they will never use, because they don't want to lose a penny. If you forgive $1 interest for each customer, you have 5 million customers, so there are possibilities of losing out of 5 million revenue every month. That's why, so they do not put any minimum amount, and maximum, mostly the state government, I have never heard of anything that the maximum amount is this. Okay, so premium also, I told you the feature of premium, whatever reference interest rate we have plus the premium is added. Okay, with that I'm going to save and come out. Interest calculation rule is done. Next I'm going to interest key. Here I will create the key. I'll need 3 consecutive numbers. Okay, let me find the 3 numbers. Okay, 56, 57, 58 I'm going to use, because I'll show you 3 separate. So first I'll go for 56. 56, I'll call it 3%. No, this is not deposit interest. Mine is 3% late fee 0903. Is there a tolerance? If there is a tolerance, like even after it is overdue, first 3 days I'll give tolerance. Okay, I will not charge interest within the if today is within tolerance. Once the 3 days passed by, then I can put I will charge interest. Okay, so mostly company goes for 3 days. Here you choose days, like SAP has allowed weeks, months, years. Who will allow 1 year of tolerance. Okay, but anyways, SAP has given so 3 days of tolerance, and here I'll mention interest frequency is per month, and here I will tag my interest calculation rules, which is 0903/1. Okay, then we have this option, summarize in sub item before interest calculation. Sub item, what are the difference between summarization? Suppose I have 3 open items, 10, 20, 30, and interest will be 3% of 10 is 3, 3% of 20 is 6, 3% of 30 is 9. So total interest will be 9 plus 9, 18, and total this open item is 50, 60. So even if I charge 3%, I charge at the total, it will become 18, or even if I charge individually, it will become 18. Okay, so there is no difference, but the second scenario you will see the difference. Right now my interest rate is flat. Whenever you are using flat rate, there is no difference, but in the second scenario I'll show you a complicated scenario where you'll see the checkbox causes a difference. Okay, so I'll put the summarization here, and I will consider all item. Let me see what is that. If you say this indicator, the interest program checks whether all sub items of a document items were read, missing sub items, and then read 20 days after. Okay, let me uncheck and see, and I'll check the difference. Okay, done. So interest calculation is done. Now let's go for the end user activity. Now before the end user, I need to assign the interest key into my CA master. This is my CA, and here we have interest key. Now here I will assign my 56 na 56 I will assign. This is not ascending. 56. Okay, and save. Now this is done. So let me see if this CA has any open item left. /n FPL9 open items. Okay, I do have quite a few open items. Now let's run interest. So my open items are due on April. Let me post some open items for the month of maybe March, because if I run interest on 30th of April, then I cannot run interest for the month of April one more time. Okay, ideally what happens, I have to reverse the interest, then I will run again. So 1 month, 1 interest, because I have chosen monthly interest. So what I want to do, I want to post some interest for the month of March, then for the month of April. Okay, so for that I'll post couple of open items in the March and run interest on March, then I'll run interest for April, because I cannot run late fee twice in a month because I have chosen the monthly frequency. I can run if I reverse the first run, then I can run again. So I'll post open item. Okay, 1803 is the due date. Now I will be having open items from March as well. Okay, now I will run late fee. First I will run in simulation to check the calculation is fine or not. Then accordingly I will run for the who is joining. Okay, Monica. Okay, this is done. Next, I'll run interest next. So interest can be run manually and also in batch. I'll show you manual screen. FPI1 is a T code. Here you can run interest individually. You'll enter the CA, then interest will run. But anyways, this is not used because mostly it is run in batch. So from 0 to 999, all CA will be run on month end to see the interest is posted or not. Okay, so I'll take you to the batch mass run T code. /n FPINT-M1 is the T code. I'll copy from previous run. See how less popular this is. When you open each mass run, you will see the popularity. So when I click on F4, I see only 78 times it was executed. Versus if I open a popular run /show FPY1 direct debit, how many times was it run? 3 digit. It has to be 3 digit. 461 times. See the difference? 78 versus 461. So all the participants, they practice direct debit more versus interest. Let me check Dunning /n FPVA. Although I have not taught Dunning yet, less than 461, 330, but still more than late fee. What about maybe auto clear FPMA? So it's like a BW stuff. Still, it is more popular than late fee. Okay, FICA is known for its collection activity. So interest is a part of collection activity. Should be should be given. It should get more than 78 at least. Anyways, I'll copy from any of the previous batch. INT1 B. I'll run with simulation first. No custom selection. Everything should be all item. It will check. Posting parameters. It is run on the month end. So first I'll run for 31st March. Oh, this default values I have not shown. Oh, I have not done the main sub because it will post entry. So the main sub is also required. Okay, so I forgot to show that. So, oh, this one is also missed out. So tolerance has to be, it has to be made. So I'll just create a new entry. Company co 0903. I forgot the all the config. Debit USD and interest lock can also be put into the CA master. You see CA has some interest lock. If you don't want some CA should participate in the interest, then you can put a interest lock. Here is it, interest lock. So two interest locks are there. You will see both the S and Z. These are configured in the config. And here define specification for interest calculation. So document type by default it will take GB. This is what you see in the screen, GB. Then rounding, it says no rounding because interest mostly posts in decimal. Okay, statistical interest you can assign statistical. If you assign statistical interest, that will not go to FI. I don't want it to be statistical, I want it to be real. That's why no statistical interest I have done. Then interest document will be posted per CA Yes or no? Okay, generally interest is posted at CA master. So if I have 3 open items, against 3 open items, I'll post one entry. In my CA, if I have 3 open items, I'll post one entry. Okay, then this is done. Next, I need to do the main sub. Okay, so interest main transaction is 40. Again, in this environment, 40 main and sub combination is there. So I'll start from other receivable, posting document, maintain document assignment, maintain transaction for ISU. So here we have a dedicated node, maintain transaction for interest. New entry 0903 LPF late payment fee. So 0040 is interest, and you will see 0040 and 0010 is the statistical interest. Okay, so here, okay, let me show you the error. So hit enter. It is asking for statistical indicator is needed. So it will take the statistical interest G. Okay, so this 10 is the interest request. I don't want to go that way. I want to post real interest. So real interest is 4020. You enter 20 and remove the statistical key. Okay, interest receivable. This is real interest receivable. Again, at interest level, if you want to do, say, you want to post an interest lock. That means whenever interest is posted on the following month, suppose this interest document remains open. On the following month, there will be no interest on interest. If you want to do that, if your client say, okay, I want to make sure that there is no interest on interest, in that case, you can put an interest lock. Okay, so for say for 31st March, a $3 interest is posted. And again, on 30th of April, that $3 is still open and it is overdue. Now, when you run interest, whatever open items, they will be charged late fee. Should we charge late fee on the previous month's interest, that is on the $3? I will again charge 3%, that is 0.09. Should I do that? If you want to prevent, then you put an interest lock. If your client says no, fine, that is also open item, again charge interest, so then you will not enter anything. Okay, so I will not enter it. Or if you want that your interest document will use a special interest key, so remember I created 56 like that. Interest document will carry, maybe my regular late fee is 3%, but interest documents will carry 1%. For that, you will again create one interest calculation rule and interest key and assign that particular interest key. Okay, I don't have that. I mean, mostly I have not seen such requirement, so I'm going to keep it blank, save, and I will need for 20. Okay, that's fine. This is done. Now ek01 ek02 slash n. Okay, slash o ek01 ENA. And now I need a separate GL. Separate GL means here also remember I posted a separate GL for discount. Then when I posted charges, interest is similar to say LPC, late payment charge. Interest is similar to this charge. I posted to a separate GL, stamp duty GL. So similarly, it should not hit the revenue GL. Instead, it should hit a separate GL because they want to see how much revenue we have received via sale and how much we have received due to late fee, penalty, etc. Okay. So separate GL FI team will create a, I mean, give you a separate GL number. Here I'm going to create profit and loss. It will be 43, 44. Let me do 45. Or copy. Okay, okay. So it was also earlier batches. I also did 45. posting without tax. Tax category is not needed. Again, it's a profit and loss account. In EK02 slash n EK02, I will assign this. Tax not needed here.
This account determination ID should be different here, right?
No. This is the account determination ID of the CA. My CA AD
Normally
ID
we
is
put
26.
01, right?
No. Whatever AD ID you assign at the CA master, that you can use. I
Yeah, that's.
assigned 26.
Achha, we assign 26 in CA master, okay. Because
Yeah,
I thought in
from
majority cases we assign 01 only, right?
01 was already
Okay.
configured, so that's why this batch, so it was already there. This batch, all my EK01, EK02, I am using 26. Okay,
Okay.
whatever I use in my CA master, that has to be configured here.
Mhm.
Okay, now we'll go back to interest. 31st tree. So it is not statistical. We have controlled it from the configuration. Here also, I will charge interest on only my debit account, debit item. Okay, not credit, not debit and credit. Okay, if you put debit and credit, then it will create the balance. It will find the balance and it will run this interest. Okay, we don't do debit and credit because it is expected that there should not be both debit and credit open in an account, because auto clear must have taken care of that. Okay, and interest will be run on open item only, not all item, not cleared item. And I will create a correspondence, because interest is charged. If I don't send the letter to customer, how would they know that now they have to pay maybe a couple of dollars extra? Technical settings, logs, all are fine. Now I'm going to save. With simulation run, I'll run schedule work from run. This is completed. Go to environment, interest calculation rule, or overview or something. So here we'll see that this 9422, this document was used for late fee posting. And let's validate here. Okay, so only 9422 is the one which falls in within due date is here within 31st, and the total open item is 72.10, 3% of which will be 21.2.1 something. Okay, so it has taken the not the tax amount. The late fee is calculated on the receivable amount. Okay, what if I put it against all item? Let's see, because I saw there was one checkbox where I did not check. Let me, because say I want to run late fee on the entire open item on the tax as well. So here the concept is, out of 71 point, what is that total? Out of 72.10, the amount that they owe us is 70, and 2.10 is tax. Okay, 70 is the amount that they owe to this company, and 2.10 is tax. So late fee is charged on this 70 only. But if I want to include that 2.1 as well, let's try that config and run again, because I don't want to do any enhancement. Standard way can we handle basic business transaction item interest, define interest key, hour is 56. Here we have this consider all item for interest calculation. I'll just check this and save. Okay, now let's run again. slash n fpint m1. So save and schedule program run. Okay, refresh. It is completed. Again, environment interest calculation list execute. Still 70 it is picking. So this does not display mode.
मैया तो मुद्रा देखे याद रहा हूँ वो कड़ी वाला साला
Sorry, 56. What does it say actually? If you say this indicator interest program checks whether all sub items of a document were read. Missing sub items are then read before the interest calculation. Example, 20 days after receivable is due, the customer pays half of the amount to be paid. You start dunning the program after 30 days and also you start dunning program after 30 days and also we want to calculate interest on the cleared item. The dunning program first selects only open item. If you carry out the interest calculation with interest key for the indicator is set, the cleared item is then read. Acha. The subsequent reading of sub item time. Okay, so it is saying that if any partial amount is paid, on that also interest will be calculated. I don't want to do that. Okay, I thought it is talking about all item means including tax, but it is not talking about that. So I'll just remove it and save it. So this is standard SAP's behavior. In previous batches also this happened. This checkbox that just got into my eyes, I thought that via this checkbox I can run dunning, interest, run the late fee on the entire amount. But anyways, this is what standard SAP does. We can enhance it if the client is asking such thing. So $70 is the open item which the customer owes this company is 0903. On that 3% late fee and interest calculation interest key is 56. 70 into 3% is coming as 2.10. Okay, remember this is flat interest calculation. It is not like okay, how much is the like it is not per annum. So 3% by 365 multiplied by how much is the difference? So difference is, so you see from date is 19th because it was due on 18th. So from the very next date, from 19th 3 to 31st, it will not calculate that way. It will not calculate interest for these 12 days only. It is just a flat 3%. Okay, in standard SAP, it is just flat 3%. So it is as per our expectation. So I'll come back and now I will remove the simulation and I will run normal way. Remove simulation, save, schedule program run. Okay. Now it is supposed to post the document, environment, interest calculation list, execute. Okay, so 2.10 interest document, it has posted, I think 40046. Let's see, let's go to the FPL9. And refresh. And the yes, this is the interest 40046. So this is the document. Now, if you come here, this is the late fee. And it is like 4020 that we have configured and it is not statistical. Statistical key is blank. It will go to FI because it has the recon key. Okay. And here's the origin key. So now 27. We have seen other origin keys 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06. Okay. Single interest is 07, but mass run is 27. Okay. So interest document in interest run. Run means date ID, run ID like this. That means this is posted via mass transaction. Okay. And here sometimes may happen, the users may complain you, okay, how this 2.10 came. Now here to I ran it manually, that's why I can see. But in production, it will run for entire 0 to 9 and an entire range. It is beyond impossible that you cannot show them, you cannot tell them how this came. Or even if you come here, if you click on the execute button, it will take millions. It will take ages to load this screen because lots of customers will be there, lots of entries. Even if it loads after maybe 5 or 6 minutes you cannot find, you have to do control F and all. So what is the way, how can I show them that what is the, how this 2.10 came? I know 70 into 3%, this is the one, but there are two ways. First, there is a table option. Okay, so table option is /n AC16N interest table DFKKIA. Sorry, first header table DFKKIH. Okay, history table. Sorry, here you just enter the interest document number. This is the interest document number. It will tell you what open items was considered for the interest run. So you enter the interest document number here and you execute. It will tell you that on this receivable which was due from, I mean, this is after due date and this is the run date. Okay, from 1903 to 31st, because 31st03 is the date on which the interest was executed, interest run was done. Okay, so for this period this interest is calculated, but again here I cannot see the figures, like what is the open item, what is the rate, and what is the interest amount. I cannot see the those figures. For that we'll go to DFKK IA table, and again you enter the interest document number and you execute. Here it will give you a proper explanation. This is the interest document number, this is the open item on which this interest is charged. Okay, and from date to date, this is the date on which the interest was charged. Open item amount was 70 excluding the taxes. Interest key used was 56 and interest rate was 3%, 70 into 3% coming as 2.10. And key date, remember there was one config, move key date to the next month if necessary. Key date is a date which is after the due date, just the next date, following date after the due date. So my due date was 1803, so my key date becomes 19. That is the date from which interest is baseline date, or what, base date for interest calculation. From the date it is calculated. Okay, this is one option. This way you can tell the user, okay, you can see this. But what I did, I mean, this happened with me in my hypercare. So I explained this. User was initially happy. Now she told, okay, that's fine. Every time a customer will raise a query, I have to open the table and I don't have a table access. I have to come to you, I have to raise a ticket, and maybe the hypercare will be over shortly. Who will assist me? They will not give me table access. Then I cannot see on what item what happened. So for that, then what is the next option? You open the interest document. This is the interest document. You go to environment and you go to interest supplement. Okay, from here the CSR can answer to the customer directly without going to support desk, that this is the original receivable. You can, if you click it, it will take you to the original receivable. So if you click it, it will take you to the original receivable, and this is the open item. Okay, so original receivable, this is the item number 1. So it has only one, no partial clearing, so only one item from date to date. So it was due, okay, sorry, if you open this, this was due on 1803. Explain that it is due on 1803. From the very next date interest started calculating. Then 70 open item, 3%, 2.1. Okay, this is how you can respond to the customer, or maybe you as a consultant respond to the CSR. So we have less than 1 minute. When we come back, we'll talk about the complex scenario where the interest is not this flat, not 3% flat. It will be a bit complicated. Okay, so okay, we will come back. Okay, till it gets the call gets over, I'll give you a glimpse of what is the complex requirement. The complex requirement is like a staggered way of interest calculation. Staggered bole to, staggered means it is not flat. It says up to $10 charge 3%. From 10